Hey y'all, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bailey.
Welcome to Livin on a Prayer.
We're two best friends who are here to keep it real and relatable.
Through life's hills and valleys, we're here to remind you we're all just living on a prayer.
Looking for chic, versatile pieces that fit seamlessly into every moment of your life? Let us introduce you to one of our favorite stores, Mackenzie & Me. They've got you covered from the carpool line
to wedding celebrations. Mackenzie & Me is an in-store and online boutique owned by two sisters based here in Covington, Louisiana. With most items priced under $100, Mackenzie & Me offers affordable fashion without sacrificing quality.
As one of our go-to boutiques, the girls there are always ready to help us find the perfect outfit plus more.
Pop by Mackenzie & Me or shop online at mackenzieme.com because great style shouldn't just be for special occasions, it's for every day too. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
I was doing a weird face. Okay.
And Bailey is in a little bit of a spiral.
Okay, so just to preface.
Is it preface or is it preface?
Oh my gosh, it's preface.
I always wonder this when I'm reading the
preface.
words.
I don't know. There's a couple words I say that are questionable.
Yeah, but go is spelled like Gawks in Louisiana, and we say go.
You're right. So it's really tomato type thing, whatever. I'm here to tell y'all I got a little facial treatment done yesterday called an IPL. If you know what it is, you know what it is. But I'm a little bit swollen today, looking like an avatar.
If you're just listening, you're not even looking at her. You would never know.
If you're listening, I'm happy for you. If you're watching, I'm sorry about Avatar Bailey.
If you're listening or watching, I'm sorry because I don't sound
and
too
Kristen
great today.
is a little under the weather, so we're just like, you know what? This is it. This is who we are today. And it kind of rolls into our topic.
Of this is who we are this week.
This week, we're going to be better, not bitter. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be bitter, be better.
I love that.
Say that fast, 5 times fast.
Don't be bitter, be better. Don't be bitter, be better.
Don't be bitter, be better.
Don't be bitter, be better. Don't be bitter, be better. That was it. 5 times.
That was good. That's not even a tongue twister, I guess. Okay, so anyway, if you're watching and you are wondering what's wrong with my face, I know that I'm swollen. I know that I look like an avatar, but
we're choosing to not be bitter about it because your face gonna look better.
I'm gonna look better, so I'm not bitter.
I love that for you.
But I do look a little cuckoo today.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Well, all week long, at least me
too.
And Bailey, and a few of my
people
friends,
we've been talking with.
It's been a rough week.
It's been a week.
Is the moon out of alignment? Are we in retrograde? Is there just a spiritual warfare going on? What is it?
I don't think I know what that word retrograde means.
When everything's orbiting the wrong way. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay, wow.
Like when people say Mercury's in retrograde, like Mercury is going the opposite.
I saw someone say that the other day, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's orbiting the opposite way, so it just feels like the energy and the shift of the world.
Something's shifting.
And everything is out of alignment.
Yeah, well, that's happening.
There are just so many people I feel like that are taking on so many trials this week, and
or they've been taking on trials, and this week was like the
straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, like it was like, I just have been doing this, and this, and now I'm just finally feeling it all. Like I've had a lot of conversations this week, and so have you.
Yeah.
And then we've had our stuff.
Yeah.
So we were like, what's, our topic, what's on our hearts? And then we were just having a normal conversation, and we're like, well, I know what it is.
Well, I've just tried, and it's so much easier said than done. I don't do this for myself. I need to take my own advice. And I'm trying.
Never easy.
I'm trying to, but all week, just as my friends have told me, like, this is what's going on. This is and they're having their breakdowns. I'm like, okay. Oh, sorry, I keep saying and I'm trying to catch myself. I have said, let's try and just flip your perspective. So even me,
right,
this week, I just for an example,
list
for a few
all
examples.
The things that happened this week.
I'm on my way home from a 3-hour trip this weekend from Lake Charles. I'm on the interstate, and I'm going through Lafayette, and so at this point, I have about an hour and 45 minutes left of my drive, and my car just starts tugging in one direction. I said, something does not feel right.
Oh,
and for the last 3 months, I've known something's been wrong with my car, and every time I take it in, they're like, nah, your car's fine.
And you're like, no.
Something feels wrong.
Something feels a little shaky.
Well, in Lafayette, something felt real wrong. So I get home on Monday and I said, okay, I have to bring this car
Yeah.
in.
was
Maybe my
shaky.
tires are out of alignment because it's shifting one way. So me thinking I'm going to bring my car to the tire shop and just get it like an alignment adjustment, tire rotation, something under about $300. I get there and within the first 15 seconds, the man said, oh, you just need new tires. What, you got 50,000 miles on this car? I'm like, 60,000 plus? And he said, and this is your first set of tires? Yeah, you just need new tires. Let's go. Let me ring you up. So we walk inside and this man tells me, okay, you got two options of what I've got in stock. $1,100 for blah, 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 and $1,400 for the blah, blah, blah. And I literally just
You're like, hold up.
sunk. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, this man, like, obviously he knows what he's doing, but sometimes there are those salespeople that will take advantage of you if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're
so
like,
I'm thinking that this man is looking at me like this little girl that he's just gonna like sell and he's gonna get commission off of, and I'm like,
Can I get a second opinion?
Are you sure that that's what I need? Like, are you sure? And
4 new tires.
yeah, 4 new tires. Okay.
And like, let me just say this really quick. Buying tires is like, there is no instant gratification in a $1,400 tire purchase. Like, you're not like, ooh, look at my new tires. I love my new tires. I can't wait to wear my new tires. Like, yeah, it's like getting a new roof or something. Like, there's no excitement in dropping $10,000 on a new roof. Like, at least let me like be happy
that
about
sounds
it.
sad.
I'm sorry.
I just wasn't expecting it, and I think that's what it was. It was like I was not prepared.
You weren't.
And so I was like sinking. And I think he like looked at me, my eyes were glazed over, and he's like, ma'am, so what would you like to do? And I'm like,
What set of tires will it be?
I wasn't planning on this. And he said, you're lucky you made it home. So then at that moment, I shifted my perspective to, okay, this really could have been worse. I could have been on the interstate.
I could have had a quadruple blowout.
I could have had a blowout. I could have not made it home. It could have been way worse. I could have gotten in an accident. Other people and in that moment I shifted my perspective. Like, yes, was I aggravated? 1,400%.
$1,400%.
I was aggravated. But at that moment, I had to choose, right? I had to choose how it was going to affect my day.
That's it right there. You were better, not bitter.
Right. So, okay, I'm like, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe a little bitter.
I have to get some new tires. So then I'm like, okay, I'm blessed. Like,
And I love what you said when you were like, I was just not prepared. And like, how often are we not prepared for what
tragedies, trials,
things happen to us or what we're presented? And like, even it may be something good. And it's like, whoa, I'm not prepared for that. Like, I don't know how to. So like, it's just such a perfect little example. Like, it's your tires, but you were simply just like, I just wasn't prepared.
Right.
And that's like, wouldn't we just love to like always be prepared and like know what's coming and like what God has planned for us? Like, if we could just be prepared, I can handle it. But that's not the case.
No.
You are in control of what you think and how you react to these situations. And it's sometimes is very hard because things sometimes are worse than like your scenario. It could have been so much worse, we always say. But like sometimes it's very difficult to like sit there and be like, okay, but let me look at the big picture. Like one of my rants this week when I was texting with Kristen was like, I was having a very overwhelming, overstimulated day. Like every little thing was just like, I can't do this. And part of it, like I ended up like at the end of the day, like, no, actually it was like the next morning. So this was over 24 hours. It was just a like crazy morning. And I ended up really snapping at one of my kids and he was just being a 4-year-old, but I like flipped because it was the last thing. And Kristen was just like, you got to change your perspective. I know this is so easy for me to say because I'm not in it.
I prefaced or prefaced
whatever
or
it
whatever
is.
we want to say. I prefaced it with, I know that this might sound annoying and I'm not the one in the position, so you are more than welcome to vent
Feel your
and
feel.
bitch
Yeah, for
be
sure.
aggravated and feel the way that you want to feel. But I am just... I'm just trying to
offer a switch,
Yeah.
a brain switch. And sometimes you just need that. And like sometimes we were talking about you just don't. Like you're like, bro, I don't want to hear it. I want to like feel my feelings for 24 hours. I just want to be annoyed. I just want to. And sometimes that's all right. Like get that out your system,
Feel
feel
the
it.
feels.
But I told her, I'm like, I want out of this funk. Like, I don't like how I feel. I don't like how I behaved. So having a friend that was like, look at it this way. Like, it's okay. And she also like listed out like all the things I've been going through. And sometimes you don't, like, it just piles up and you're just living life. You're just carrying the stressors.
So you can't sort through any of
Yes,
them.
and you're like, you're going through this. You just did this. This just happened. Take a step back. Give yourself grace. And I was like, you're right. Whoa, I am doing all that. Like, that's a lot of things that I'm doing. And that's a lot of stuff that I'm carrying. So just like even flipping that switch, and it's a lot of times with kids, like you have to just be like grateful for the noise, grateful for the mess. Like sometimes we get so caught up and I got to clean this up and like everyone just be quiet and can y'all sit? And I actually saw something later that said like loud kids are happy kids. And I was like, whew, I needed to hear that. Because sometimes they're not like fighting or anything. They're just being loud.
And like a messy house is a playful house.
Yes, and they're just like laughing and screaming. But you're like, okay, everyone be quiet, be quiet. How can we like get everyone to calm down and be quiet? But they weren't doing anything wrong. They're literally playing. But the loudness of, I like told Kristen, I'm like, my kids are loud. Like that was one sentence. Like they're loud. I have 3 big personality children. They are not quiet.
They are her.
They are me. They are me. And there's never a time that they're not all 3 talking or making a sound. Like none of them were like, none of them. So sometimes, and I am so blessed for their personalities. I love it. I love that they're outgoing. They make friends everywhere we go. They're not shy. They're not scared. They're brave. They're like, just, I love it.
Yeah.
But on a day that mommy is having a rough day and I'm just overstimulated by everything, the noise, the thoughts in my head, my like anxiety starts creeping in and then everything gets louder and louder. And it's just like, and poor little Jude, he really did like nothing wrong. He did something that was like, okay, buddy, we don't do this. Like it needed to just be a normal, but it was at the end of
You were at the wit's end.
really, it had been over 24 hours at this point. It was like the following morning and I still did not wake up feeling right. And I was like, and Ezra was like, whoa, bro, I got to catch the bus. Like he was like,
He said, sorry, Mom,
he
I'm
literally
out.
was like, Dad, walk me out. Like he was like not, and Jude's just like staring at me. And I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm the worst. And I'm the worst. And I told him, I said, Mommy is so sorry. That was not nice. And he's like, I love you, Mom. Like, it's okay. I love you so much. You're my best friend. Like, he was like instantly forgave
He
me.
was trying to like make you feel better.
He could tell. Like, you know, they like pick up on your energy and your emotions. Like, Ezra literally can be like, what's going on, Mom? Like they feel it. And it's so sad because it's so not their place or responsibility. But it's nice that
They care.
they care.
And they know.
Yeah, it's so sweet. But
Yeah.
Jude's little childlike faith, you know, instantly forgave me, just like Jesus does, and was just like, I love you, Mom. Let's go to school. We got to go to school. I'm like, you're right.
You're right.
Let's go. We got to keep moving. But that whole day, I just like thought about it. And it's like in those moments, we really I could have chose a whole different context for that. Like I could have like, okay, look, I have a kid who's just being funny. He thinks this is funny. It's not funny, but it's not worth being bitter over.
I think you just probably didn't have time to digest it before.
It just shot
Yeah.
out of my body.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was like building up. And I've told Aaron so many times that I'm like literally when I'm feeling like that, I'm talking to myself in my head. Like if a little something happens, don't freak out. The morning, like, don't let it ruin your morning, because I could be like, oh, why'd you just spill that? Or like, what? And I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's just little spill. Like I'm like talking to myself the whole time when I'm in these like tense moments. Half the time, like some days I wouldn't even care. I'd just clean it. But some days that could really like get me going because I'm so on edge.
But it's more too when it rains, it pours.
Right. And the
always
little,
happens
you
this
told
way.
me the little things, what'd you say? The little things
Become big
things when you have so
So
much.
many.
Because I was like trying to explain to you, I'm like, this all sounds so dumb when I'm saying it. They're little things that don't matter. And she said the little things become big things when you're feeling feelings like this. And I was like, you're right.
Well, and they're just magnified. You know?
Like literally just like when you look back, it sounds so small and minor, but in those moments, it can be so easy to just get lost in the like frustration and the anger.
When we're all human, like you can really only handle and you can really only take so much energetically, you know, like, did you get enough sleep last night? Did your kids get enough sleep last night?
The answer is no.
Are you fueling yourself properly?
What?
There's just so many levels.
It is. It's a lot.
To what's going on.
It's a lot.
And a lot of it, when we feel this way, it's because it's stuff that's out of our control. Things you weren't prepared for, whether they are small or they are huge, but life happens and it just depends on how you tackle them. So we can choose to speak out loud how aggravated we are, how annoyed we are, and the devil hears all of that.
Oh, yes.
And that's all I kept feeling all week.
He does.
All week long was like that the devil just was coming after me.
He's really been attacking.
Yeah.
Like hard.
Yeah. And I can speak out loud and say like, I'm aggravated. Why is this happening? You know, or I can say out loud, Jesus, I trust you. There's a reason I'm in these positions, and the devil hears that too.
He hears everything. We were talking about it earlier. I told Kristen I didn't. I told Kristen that I say that too much. Like I'm always like, and we were just talking about that. And I said, if I say that today, call me out. And
I didn't have to. You called yourself out. You made the big eyeballs.
But we really were saying that when you speak out loud, the devil hears you. And if even your prayers that are out loud, he's listening and he knows like what you're praying for, how you're feeling, and he's going to work on that.
What you want, what you need.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, that's what you want? Well, watch what you're going to get, girl.
You know, I feel this way about things that we say that we will never do, right? Like we watch people.
Oh, yeah.
We watch people make mistakes and sin and do things that hurt other people. And you wonder, why would they ever do that?
Yeah.
Why would I would never do something.
Never
I
do
would
that.
never. And let me just tell you that in my adult life, like I guess in the past 5-10 years,
You've done the things
I've done things that I swore
you would never do.
I would never do.
You know what that makes me think of?
Something so small, like the smallest things and the biggest
Right.
things. You know, why would somebody
earth
do
could
that?
you do that?
How
and
could
then
you
you
do
do
that?
it and you're like, okay, so here I am doing it.
So I'm human being humbled.
Yes, humbled. It makes me think of like when parents before they have kids are like, my kid will never watch an iPad, or like my kid will never speak to me like that, and then your kid is like speaking to you like that, and you're like, it's happening, or you're like, we got a tablet.
A little
Like,
fact check.
That's what it like instantly made me think of, a different comparison, but it's so true.
But it's so true.
Like, and we're just like so quick to be like, yeah, that'll never be me. And then like a month later, you're like, that is me. It is I.
It is I.
It is I doing the thing I said I wouldn't do.
Right.
It's so true.
But I think it puts things into perspective of it can be anybody.
Right.
It can happen to you.
Right.
Don't think it won't. But how will you react?
How will you handle it?
How will you handle it? How will you come out of it?
And I think that like one of the best things that I've learned, and I feel like we both have, is just like owning stuff.
Yeah.
Like when we have conversations about either something we did or like me and my kid, like I was not nice to my kid, and I could just pretend I'm like, it's fine. I'm
just
a perfect
parenting
mom.
and I'm
just
disciplining
but no,
my child.
like just like owning when we do fall and when we do stuff like we shouldn't do, instead of just being like, yeah, but it was a one time, or like it was what, like making those excuses. Like we are able to say, I should not have done that, but I did. So now I'm going to fix it, and I'm never going to do it again. Or I might do it again.
Right.
Sorry. Like moms, y'all get it. Sometimes you but not even just that, just like everything. Like it's so, I feel important to just own it, because here's the thing. Jesus already knows you did it. Jesus already knows what you messed up on. He already knows. So sometimes it just feels good to like also admit it and own your
Speak
shit.
truth.
But just owning it and speaking it out loud and like walking through it with God and knowing he already knows you did that. So
He knows your actions, but he also knows your heart.
He knows your
He knows
heart.
your intention.
he already
knows,
forgives you.
Yeah.
He's going to give you the grace and the mercy and all the things. So whenever we try to bottle things too and just kind of carry our mistakes as if they never happened, that gets really heavy too.
Right. Especially being embarrassed by them.
Yes.
And I think that that's part of the reason that a lot of us we don't talk about our trials and we don't talk about our sufferings. And then ultimately it leads to more.
Yeah, it always does.
It always does, because it's like a facade.
Right. And
Right?
it's so scary to sometimes like admit when you're wrong or did something wrong or could have done something better, because we're like so defensive and protective over ourselves. Like I would never, I'm, you know, like I'm trying to think of a good example, but just like owning whenever you do make mistakes or could have done better. Like me, like at work, like it used to be so hard for me to admit that I made a mistake when like one of my employees would come to me with a suggestion or whatever. I'd be like, oh, cute idea or whatever. But now I'm like, oh, that is like, I need to own, like, that's my bad. I haven't been doing that for you. And they're like, no, you haven't. And the respect and like the conversation is so like, I'm like, look, I will own anything, because without that, like, you don't grow.
Yeah.
And to just keep yourself like in a bubble of like, you know, I'm just perfect and I could never be wrong. You know, I'm the owner of this place. But that's not true. Are you kidding? I'm wrong all the time.
You're human.
I'm human.
Yeah.
I do be an
Well, it's
avatar today, but
But it's just, if we pretend, it's not even pretending. Like I can fake it till I make it.
fake it till you
know?
make it.
I can walk around this community all day long and people will not have a clue everything that I'm carrying
The
in my
burdens,
backpack,
yeah.
right? I'm not lying about it.
No.
I don't always choose to just speak it out, but I am also not going to I can fake it till I make it, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend
No,
that,
you're going to be like, look, okay,
I haven't had a
something's
horrible
going
week.
on. Yeah.
right? Like I
Yeah.
have taken on a lot of things that I did not plan for.
Nope.
They were not in my
You
wheelhouse.
definitely had a lot of things thrown at you.
Yeah, and they suck.
They do. I
And
mean,
tru-
that's the
and-
truth of the
And
matter.
truthfully, like they're not over. Next week, this morning I was on phone with insurance all
No,
morning.
that's the pain.
Next
of
week I'm gonna
these
have to.
things.
Next week I'm gonna have to bring my car. I'm gonna, and then there's like shuffling and scheduling around that.
Don't
I
have
have
a car.
to go to work.
Yeah.
I have things to do.
Right.
You have to get a rental car. You have to
The
set that up.
inconvenience of your car being, but then it's like,
but I'm blessed. I have a car.
Yeah, I was
I
about
have
to say, can we
insurance.
flip that and be like, I'm so blessed to have a car. This week has been really hard without one. I thank you for my car. Amen.
Yeah, and
Like the little things we take for granted, driving around in our cars and whatever it is that like our homes, like something breaks in the house and you're like, I cannot believe I have to replace this, But then, wow, what a blessing that you have this home with a broken AC that you have
Yeah.
to fix,
Yeah.
or the dirty dishes because you have children to feed,
Right.
and all the laundry. You've told me that one so many times. But at least you have clothes for your family. And I'm like, thank you. I needed that. I complain about laundry. So laundry
is
bothers me so much. Like I am so disgusted in laundry.
Well, I will tell you, even me,
Disgusted.
lately, I will wash and dry all my clothes, but it's the folding
It's that.
and putting it away.
No, it's that.
Right.
Disgusting.
And
Waste of time. Gonna just wear it again. Can we
you
all
can
just
pull it out of
from
the
piles?
dryer. You can pull it out of the dryer. You can pull it from the pile. It doesn't have to be put away. And there's always tomorrow
Can
to
we
put it away, right?
normalize? Is that the
But-
word? Piles?
Yeah. But I will say this, for me at least, when there are piles and it's a mess, it makes me feel chaotic.
Horrible.
It's like negative energy.
And that was one of my
Chaotic
bad
energy.
things this week. And that sounds so little and dramatic, but laundry. It is so annoying. It is so chaotic. It messes with my peace, but I don't want to do it. So what's the solution?
alternative?
I don't know. Can you do my laundry? I know there's that laundry lady that comes picks up your stuff, but
Yeah, and they do it and then they
that
send it
sounds a little much for me. What if I needed something in that pile and
back.
it's at her
True.
house?
Also sounds expensive,
I can't add another
Thing.
expense.
Yeah.
So I just need to grow up, basically. But laundry really bothers me
It
so
irks
much. And
you.
it was one of the things that day that was like literally annoying me, because I don't know other moms, but like when you're folding your clothes in front of your kids, what are you laughing at? Did I do something?
No, I keep
Oh,
hitting
your
this
hat.
mic with my hat. It's like
I was
it's
like,
a
did
duck
I
bill.
say my thing again?
Bing.
Oh my gosh, I thought I said it again. I was like,
No,
great.
that's just where we're at today.
But the
y'all.
laundry-
I'm so sorry.
When I'm folding it and one of the kids comes behind me and they'll just like
Knock it.
and I'm like, that's
I've
it.
had enough.
And that was something that kept happening, and I was just and like it. Goldie thought like she would just walk up and grab stuff, and she's like, "My dress," and I'm like, "Put it back." Like I just folded that.
You are so smart. That is your
I know.
dress.
And then Jude walks up and he's like, and just like knocks it all down. So like I literally I refuse to fold in front of those two because they're gonna just unfold. And then that's something that like gets me so annoyed. I'm like,
so you have to schedule when you do your laundry when your kids are
Yes.
either napping,
or
asleep,
in
or
school.
at school.
And 2 out of the 3 don't nap or sleep. Let's just put it that way. So it's like, okay, cool. So one night I stayed up doing laundry after everyone went to bed, and it took me like 2 hours because I was so behind on folding
sorry for
everything.
you.
And I was just sitting there. I was so bitter the whole time. I'm like, I could be sleeping. I could be taking a bath. I could be reading my book. And I was just sitting there folding clothes. But then I was like, these are my children's clothes and my
Reframe
husband's
it.
clothes and my clothes. And we are so blessed to have these clothes. I'm so blessed to have this family that I'm folding clothes for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at peace, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of nice. It's quiet. Aaron was out of town. I'm just have the whole living room to just make everyone's piles. No one's knocking them over.
Yeah.
And then I felt really good after.
Yeah.
It's like
And
everyone's
then you feel
laundry is up.
accomplished. Yeah.
And it's organized, and that was out of my mind. But man, laundry, whoever invented that,
Laundry, you are the burden.
you are a burden in my life.
Yeah. But you can at least, right? We can speak the truth about it. And
Right.
you can carry those things. And if you are honest about your struggles, you need a friend, you need support.
Support.
You need to be able to talk about these things especially if it's way bigger than laundry.
right.
Right? If it's
Right.
if it's
There's some serious things that can be.
if there's a void you need to feel, if it's an addiction issue, if it's something, if you are masking it just to be strong and pretend like you're okay and you're a Christian and that you're a faith-filled person, so you feel like you need to always flip the script and just say like, it's okay, I'm blessed, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Yeah.
It's okay to admit that you're not.
It's real.
It's okay to admit that there's a lot of things in your backpack, because if you don't address it, it will just get heavier and it will get worse.
Backpack will just really just start to just break you. Like it's gonna
And
get
then
so
you start
heavy.
doing things and you start sinning and you start making choices that aren't really you making the choices, because the devil is working because he knows you're weak. Because that backpack is
The weaker
heavy.
you get, the harder the devil is gonna work, because he's like, I have them right where I want them. They're tired. Like, especially an example for your week. Each little thing kept adding and adding, and like it kept, oh my gosh, another thing, another thing, another thing. That's how the devil works. And then when he has you at your point of like, I cannot take another thing.
That was literally me
been.
the other night.
Yes.
I had a cry. I don't think I've cried since May. So I don't think I've like fully cried, had like a breakdown cry. And everything felt so heavy on me. And I just was at my point of, I feel so lost. And I was singing every night I've gone to sleep since, I think for a week now. I have sang worship music.
Sing right now. Sing one of the songs right now.
I sing that song that you really like.
Rest on us.
Uh-huh.
As a spirit
Calm
would.
down. Yes.
Rest on.
But I like
us.
sing like the heavy part.
Yes.
And I
it's
hear
the
it in
best.
my voice just getting louder.
Holy Spirit, come
You don't want me to
rest
sing.
on us. Y'all, if you don't listen to that song, Rest on Us, that song,
Calm down.
Spirit, when you move, you make my heart pound.
When you feel the room, like literally.
it is so good, y'all.
I'm here and I know you are moving.
Yeah, y'all, that
Sorry.
song and that
My voice is so horrible.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna cut you
Especially
off.
today. I literally, when you don't feel good and you feel like you're like holding your
Yeah.
nose and you're under a tank, I don't have to hold my nose.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm in a water
You're
bowl.
in the tank with a nose.
My head is in a fishbowl.
You are in a fishbowl.
No, I actually feel like
and
I'm in a
I'm an
fishbowl.
avatar.
And my head is throbbing.
What is happening? But y'all, I love that you said you've been singing your worship music to sleep, because Worship is such a personal moment between you and Jesus.
I haven't been singing out loud because I've been trying to
I
go
want
to
you
sleep.
to sing
but
out loud.
No, but I've clasped my hands
It's the
under my
same thing,
pillow.
though. He hears
and
you.
I just have been moving back and forth.
She
like
said, "Holy
literally.
Spirit."
And that's how I've been putting myself to sleep.
That's so precious.
Okay. Well,
I
it
am
doesn't
so-
feel precious because it feels heavy.
Cause I get it, but I love that because I think that's really intimate. You're
It is,
singing
but-
to Jesus,
But I
and
had
he
a moment
hears
the other
you.
day and I said, I feel so lost, and I'm gonna start crying. I literally am like, I feel so lost. I've never felt this lost in my whole life. Like, what am I doing? What's going on? And I spoke that out loud. And then the next day I got in an accident. I'm like, the devil really was working.
He's working,
And he knew I was having a hard time. And so he said, ha, 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 you think you can't take one more thing?
I'm gonna give you one more thing.
Here it is,
I want to
girly.
break you. He wants to break you, dude. Like that. The enemy wants to break us, and Jesus wants the polar opposite of that.
He could have.
I
had me in that
know.
moment.
He could.
I could have raised hell, and I could have.
Let me tell you something. He wants to break us so badly. Like he is literally. This is simple, but these sweatshirts, okay? This merch that we are trying
I
to
forgot
get.
that happened this week.
That was
but
this week too. We ordered merch months ago. These sweatshirts that we almost didn't do, but we're like, we're going to do them. No, because we didn't think anyone would buy them because they're expensive. There's like 80 colors on them.
And they're
like
purple and they're bright. and
Right. We're like,
fun.
let's just offer them. Well, this was our top selling thing. I think we sold like, what?
30
something of these sweatshirts. And we were just like, oh my gosh, like the sweatshirt, this is our sweat. Like it was the first piece of merch we ever made for ourselves. Like it's just special. They come in round one, all wrong. Like literally all wrong.
And we didn't change the design. We just changed the quantity we wanted ordered.
So it was made, like the little designs made, they come in all wrong. We're both like, I don't know if anyone saw us on the stories, like unboxing, but
Our
we
faces
both like
were
are like
so-
looking at each other like, oh my gosh. And my sister like swipes up and like messages us. She's like, if y'all made the disco ball smaller, like
I bet more people would
buy
buy
them. I'm like, I'm so mortified. So sis, here's the thing. These are wrong. But then we were just like, wait, what? Like y'all, the disco ball was like
Huge.
the size of like a full real disco ball at the nightclub. And so we
And the
emailed
logo
them
on
back.
the back
Oh
was
yeah. They
tiny.
shrunk the logo on the back and then had the ball all big, and we're like, all right, let's see what they can do. The customer service was quick, great. They're like, we're gonna send you more. We're so sorry, not sure how that happened.
Check the design, make sure it's right, sending them back.
Everything's
Here
great.
it goes.
So then we get them in. We're so excited.
We didn't get them in. Don't say that.
Oh, we didn't get them in. They were delivered to
the wrong
The
house.
wrong house in my neighborhood. I get the text that's like, your thing was delivered. I'm like, great. I go to my front porch. I'm like, what? No, what? So I go look. You know, they have to take the photo to show where it was. I'm like, that's not my house. Like,
So at
what?
10 p.m., I go pick Bailey up, and we are driving around her neighborhood looking for the house
Who has our sweatshirt?
in the blurry picture that they
Yeah,
uploaded.
it's like the blurriest picture. I'm like, okay, it looks like this is like a bay window. Like it's like they were walking and they just took the picture. So we were like on this mystery hunt for the box. We
So we
find
found
the
the
box.
box.
Yay! So excited. Go inside. Open them up. When I tell y'all,
My face dropped to the floor.
I go, oh, Kristen, they're wrong. Like I opened it and I'm like, they're wrong. She's like, huh? Like we're both, I was like, they're wrong. They're wrong. Look at the color. The disco ball was like orange and blue instead of pink and purple.
It was so horrid.
Like they just shifted the colors and
the sizing was all right. Yay. It's so great.
so then I start going through it and I notice it was not all of them. It was only 9 of them, which is still frustrating, but we're like, okay, so we can get some of these out to people. There's only 9 that are wrong. We're going to get them back, but like 3 times. And I'm hoping this last time they're right, but like the devil is like, I do not want people walking around with a cross and living on a prayer on their shirts. So I'm going to keep messing them up. And we could have easily just been like, you know what?
We're giving it to everybody.
We're giving them
it is
or
what it is.
whatever. They're fine. They're not ugly. Like they're fine. people actually like DM'd us and we're like, we'll buy the wrong ones. Like they're still cute. And we're like, we know, but the principle is we
just
want
not
them right.
Yeah.
But that was just another thing.
it could just keep breaking.
The devil's working so hard on this podcast, especially.
Yeah.
We hit roadblocks all the time because he's like,
the roadblocks don't stop.
they don't stop
with this.
They don't stop with this.
Sweet Jonah and Mal at Lettuce Media, y'all, they are actually
The
a
best.
godsend.
They are. And they have like worked through so many things. They've never even, they're like, what is going on with y'all's podcast? It's always like something. And I'm like, it is the devil is what it is. He does not want us out here spreading the word.
No.
He is going to try to stop this as hard as he can, but he ain't. Even when we get like stressed, like, oh, we got to fit this in the schedule, or like, how are we going to afford this month? Like, we're like, no, we are not. This is what we're doing. We are spreading God's word, and we will figure it out because he will provide, because we are doing the right thing.
Yeah, facts.
Facts.
Read that scripture out loud.
Which one?
I'm just saying.
Oh, I was like, my one for
yeah,
today.
let's read it.
I could just.
Okay, go. Yep.
I'm
Segue
like,
into
you
that.
ready, girl? You
Here
ready?
it is. Let's speak the
Okay.
truth.
So this verse was about like our be better, not bitter. I was trying to find like where in the Bible they talk about
Sorry.
what?
Don't be bitter. Be better. That's what you said.
Oh, is that what I said? Don't
Originally,
be
yeah.
bitter, be better.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be the title of this episode. Be better. Don't be bitter.
Be better.
Butter. Now I want some butter.
Butter.
Butter. All right, here we go. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. And that really like applies to like forgiving yourself and giving yourself grace. When you go through these trials or you do something that you are just ashamed of and you're just like, how will I recover? And like, how did I let myself get there?
to this point.
And what made me think that was okay? Because I know it's not, and that ain't me. Like we were saying, it's not me, but I did it. So what made me do that? How can I ever get over this? How can I ever get past this? I don't deserve this, that, and the other, because look what I'm doing. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
And I know I am, and you are too. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are, but I'm hard enough on myself that I don't need anybody else to do it for me.
We got
You
it
know,
under control.
but
We got
just
it.
in the world we live in today, a lot of people will make excuses, or they will judge you or be angry with you, and it's like, I'm already judging myself.
I got it. Look, sister, I got it. I'm already mad at myself. I'm already down on myself. I'm literally sick to my stomach over this. You don't have to talk about it.
Right. My body's reacting. I'm losing weight. I'm throwing up. I'm nauseous. I
Got this.
I know.
I know what I
that
did.
A decision or two that I have made, it was not the right one. But again, things I swear I will never do, we do.
But here's the thing, though. You're also like, there's no excuse for behavior that we know we shouldn't have done, but also you're, at the end of the day, growing from these situations that we're put in. And honestly,
But as long as you can sit down, recognize the truth,
that's it. That's what I was about to say.
and have a conversation with God and move forward from it.
Yep.
Like, okay, I made these decisions. They were not right. Did they honor you?
No. Was it what
Did
I
they honor
should've-
me? Did they respect
No.
myself?
No.
Did they help anybody else, or did they hurt somebody?
Right.
Having that conversation and working through it,
And just being
honest
about
but
it.
owning it.
And owning it, and then knowing, here's the thing, God forgave you the second you asked. So why can't you forgive yourself?
right.
Why can't you leave it? Like, leave it. It's in the past. You're not going to do it again.
I think it's because we worry so much about the opinions of others.
Right. And what do we say? What you think about me is none of my business. What you say about me is none of my business. You go ahead and say what you got to say, because that's how you feel about me, because of how you feel about you.
Ooh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you have stuff going on that's going to also, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Magnify?
Affect how you feel about other people. So if you're going through like a season that you're just like really upset about something specific, and then someone else gets it or does it, your feelings towards them could be magnified because you're also like going through something else personally. And at the end of the day, no one else's opinions matter. What they think about you does not matter. If they know you did something wrong, they are going to harp on it way longer than you are because they love tea. Unsweet tea.
Unsweet tea.
People love unsweet tea. So if you did something that gets out and people hear about it and they're talking about it, they love it because it's not them that did it. But you know they did something else that's probably equal, worse, or maybe not as bad, but it's still a sin and they're all equal. They did something else too, but they're feeling good because what you did, they didn't do.
Yeah.
Or they did do it before and they're happy someone else did it.
Right. They're
not
not
just
alone.
me. So when people are talking
But they're
about
not
it
alone. They're like not alone in a malicious way.
in
Like,
a malicious way, like,
she
well,
said she would never do that, and look at her.
look at her now. And so like that is something that we have got to just, who cares what they think, because only God's opinion matters. And if he forgave you and you had that open, honest conversation with him, you better forgive yourself.
Yeah.
You better forgive yourself and know it's over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again. It's in my past. I'm not going to go days and days and days and be sick over this. Okay?
Because
Do you
I
hear
will
me?
be. Because I will be.
And I've been there. Every time something happens, like anything big or small, I harp on it for days, even though I know it's already been handled with the Lord.
Right.
Or it's something someone said about me recently. This happened to me. And I was so upset. I literally was crying and I was devastated. And it was something that was so hurtful. It literally hit me in my spot where it hurt. And this person knew that that was what they were doing. They knew what will make her really upset. That's what I'm going to say.
It's sometimes people that are the closest to you, they know exactly what is going to hurt you the most. It's like they're sticking
Point. Like,
yeah,
they're
like
like,
they're sticking a little screwdriver in you,
Yes.
and they're like, "You thought this hurts? Well, watch when I turn it."
Right. And they know, and that's the devil, sadly, surrounding you. And that's when you know you either need to remove that person or you either did the right thing removing that person, and you should just be at peace knowing they're not
And again,
in your circle.
sometimes hurt people.
Well,
So
that's what it was in this scenario. The person was very hurt,
But most of the
so
time,
she wanted to hurt me back.
right? But just most of the time in general, that's what. Again, we are human.
It's true.
And like
That's how we react.
yeah, it's almost just a natural instinct.
Yep.
And no, it's not okay. No, we are not excusing the behavior.
Right, but
because
it
it's
just-
hurtful,
it just
but
happens.
that is what it is. It's what's deeper in,
It's true.
rather than just speaking the truth and saying like, look, I'm really hurt.
Yes, and that kind of goes back into what we're talking about, like with just being honest, like have these hard, honest conversations. They are not easy. It is not easy to sit someone down. Man, I should read this other thing, that
Read
truth
it.
thing.
Okay,
I'm going to read this.
about the truth.
I'm going to read about the truth because it's not easy to sit someone down and tell the truth.
Tell the clear truth,
not
the truth.
Truth behind with love behind it.
Right.
That's what this is.
Not truth to hurt somebody.
Right. But
Truth
like,
of,
even if it's you admitting the truth, like I did this wrong, I handled this wrong, that is hard. That is something over the years that I've really had to work on. Like
very
admitting when I'm wrong out loud to
this
someone.
is my question. Why do we not, or why does our society, community, family, whatever, not teach? I know we teach children like the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. You will be in less
Tell
trouble
the
if you
truth.
tell the
Yeah.
truth. But why don't we really encourage admittance of those wrongs sooner?
I agree with
rather
that.
than like before somebody gets in trouble.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, and I mean, that's even with my parenting situation. Like when I went and apologized and was like, I did the wrong thing and like that shouldn't have happened. And I was like, I feel like that shows my kids at least like she knows what she was wrong. She took accountability. She apologized, and we're gonna forgive each other.
We're gonna forgive each other, and then we're gonna fix
Rather
it. Hopefully
than just
moving
sweeping
forward.
it under the rug, knowing my 4-year-old is not gonna harp on this. He's gonna go to school. He's not
it's-
gonna think about.
But it's that same conversation with God.
Right.
Walking with God,
Being
and
honest.
kneeling down and saying,
This is my struggle.
God, I sinned. I made a mistake, and I am acknowledging that I made the mistake.
I love that, and I love
Can we have a conversation about it for me to tell you I'm sorry?
that.
Are you going to forgive me?
The combo.
And let's move forward of how to not do this next
Again.
time or be better.
I love it. Be better, not bitter. But truly, these conversations that like we think I think, I won't say we because I don't know who I'm speaking for, but I think sometimes when these things are in my head, like I know I should be doing something or I didn't do something right or whatever, it's like just between me and da da da. And I forget, like, God already knows, like, girl, he knows what you're doing. Like, he sees it. It's okay. Stop trying to like cover it up and just like, okay, well, let me do this and let me do this better. And I'm going to do this. This will help me feel better. Or this, like, stop trying to like sweep it under the rug and just address it between whoever it needs to be addressed between on earth, but definitely that conversation with God, because he already knows. So just being like, okay, I'm giving this to you. This is my struggle right now. This is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling. I did this, and this that was not right. What am I supposed to do? Like, have these conversations. The sooner you have these conversations with God, the sooner those areas of your life are going to mend.
Right.
Like, straight up. And there's no other way around it without having these conversations with God first. Your earthly life will not shift. The things that you're concerned about, worried about, that you did, that you're not at peace with, whatever that looks like, it will not change if you just bottle it up.
Yeah.
Because God already knows,
magnify.
but you have to put in that conversation. God already knows. He's waiting for you to come and talk about it, to pray about it, whatever. He's just waiting there like the gentleman that he is. Like, is she going to tell me? Because I already know. Here we go. Scripture is quite clear that as followers of Christ, we are called to do away with false lifestyles and to live with integrity. But what if the truth hurts? What if an employee you manage must be confronted about poor performance? What if friends ask for your opinion and you know it will not be what they want to hear? Scripture says that we are to hold to the truth in love. How important it is to make sure our love for others is strong enough to include the truth, and how necessary it is to temper our truth-telling with love. Too many times people use honesty as an excuse for expressing bitterness or criticism, saying, I was just telling the truth. Too often, Christian relationships remain shallow because we hide from the truth behind niceness. May we have the courage and gentleness to speak and live the truth in Christ's firm yet gentle love.
When you're reading that, the only thing that popped in my head is when you have conversations with people and they say, truthfully, or, well, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard either of
I
those?
think I say that a lot.
But have you ever heard either of those phrases without like
Something a little,
attitude?
yeah, or a little negative behind it.
Right.
Yeah. No.
And honestly,
Yeah. Like, look, if I'm being honest, like that's usually,
but I don't want to have any conversation with you if you're not being honest or if
Right.
you're not being truthful. So
what did
I
you
don't
tell me the other day?
I don't ever feel like somebody has to. If you're in my life, please don't preface anything with that, because
Just have
we
a
should
normal
just be
conversation.
talking.
Yeah, like you don't need to be like, look, I gotta
And
be
look,
honest.
if I do it,
I know,
I'm sorry.
I
I'm gonna try
say
and be
it.
better, because now that I'm speaking this out loud, I'm like, wow.
I think I say that.
We
Like,
all do
look,
it.
if I'm being honest, y'all gotta like whatever. I don't know what I say, but I
But you
feel like
should
I
be
say that.
honest. You shouldn't have to preface it with that.
Just be honest. Yeah.
That's like when people say, look, no offense. Offense is going to be taken when you say, look, no offense. If you feel like you have to say that.
I don't want to hurt you, but like all those kind of things.
I don't want to hurt you, but I know what I'm about to say is going to hurt you.
Right.
So just be prepped.
Just
be
be prepared.
The screwdriver's coming into you.
But I think that, like you said, these conversations can be had with kindness and gentleness, just like this says, in Christ's firm yet gentle love. Like, God is firm. He's not just letting us get away with these things. Like, he's not just like, oh my gosh, whatever you want. He's firm. He is our Father. He is called a Father for a reason. Like, he is firm with us. He has standards for us. He has things he asks of us to do, but he's gentle and he's loving and he's grace. He's mercy. Like, all of these things. He's beauty and he's grace.
Miss United States.
Mr. Heaven.
That didn't rhyme.
I know, but like he's just not like Mr. United States, you know? He's way beyond.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. I can't. That's a good one though. That's good. It's true. He's Mr. Worldwide.
He is.
But he seriously do be graceful. He do be gentle. And
Speak the truth.
that's like all we need to try to do as people is love and treat people like God treats us. And these conversations are not always easy, but they're necessary. And when they're not had, typically things just build up and get worse. So why not just like handle it, you know? And if you handle it correctly, you know, it's really hard for some people to hear stuff and they may take it and run with it. And it, for them, may turn out to be a really negative situation.
Well, and a lot of times I feel that people take information and they're not in a good space.
Right.
When you're delivering the information.
That's it.
Right. So
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, one day you could have a conversation with somebody and they can take it, even if you deliver it the same way both times, right? They can take it that was helpful. You respect them and you love them enough to tell them the truth.
Right.
And then another day, if they are having a horrible day, they will take it as she's a bitch.
Yep.
That was really
Pile on to
degrading.
my day. Yeah.
She did that to hurt me.
Yep.
She's telling me all these things because she doesn't like me.
Yep.
And I don't,
It's so true.
But then that goes back to perspective. Which way are you going to look at it? Because sometimes when we have conversations, we may feel that, but then we may be able to flip it and say, you know, they probably wouldn't have had that conversation if they didn't care about me.
Right. And that, even as little, like when I was kind of a little spicy with you this week, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I didn't give you grace and even think about like what you're going through. I just immediately reacted. Like my emotions reacted instantly, and I texted you back and it was an instant. I didn't even like sit and think about it. Like I immediately was like, like that's how I felt right away. I sent it, stepped back and was like, I got to send a voice memo. I'm like, I'm so sorry like that I was spicy with you. Like you didn't deserve that. I didn't even think like why what was happening. I didn't look at the bigger picture. I just thought about me.
Yeah.
I was very in that moment like, well, me, what about me? What about me? And that's something that we do all the time. And so when these conversations are had, you can instantly think me. But sometimes it's like, just take a step back, look at the big picture. They probably wouldn't be having this conversation with you if they didn't care about you, if they didn't love you, or if they didn't want you to be better. Now, sometimes people be telling you stuff and you're like, look, you're wrong. And that's all right. You know, people think they know. We all think we know what's best and this, that, and the other. So there's a time and place for it. But if it's like true, like real good criticism or a hard conversation that's like has to happen, sometimes like we just need to like sit there and kind of like let it marinate a little bit and realize, okay, maybe they're right. Or maybe I did need to hear that. Because it can be hard, especially like criticism. You know, like things that could really make you grow or be better. But when people tell you, it's like, why do we feel embarrassed? I don't know. Like if for me, if someone tells me like, I have an idea, like I think we should do this or whatever, like within the salon, like I sometimes get so embarrassed. Like, why didn't I think of that? Or like, have they been thinking about this for a long time and I'm failing them? Like, wow, I'm such a failure. But guess who's that? Who's that in my head?
Yeah. I feel like I've been criticized my whole life because of dance. You too.
Yeah.
Like we would get on a stage.
Oh yeah, we're judged.
And there was a judging panel.
A judging panel.
Of not how you basically start with 100 points.
Right.
And then
they
want to
deduct.
tell you what you do wrong.
Right.
Right? Our whole lives we are tested and we are people are looking at us and they are waiting for you to mess up.
Right. And that, like, when they give us our criticism, we could either be upset about bitter or better. When we'd hear those videos, you either were like, oh, whatever, we did good. Like,
we did good and we should have won first place and we won second.
Or we could hear it and be like, okay, let's go fix it right now.
We can fix it and we'll be better next time.
And we'll win. So that's a great example, but it's true. Like, it's like we have a judging panel looking at us from all areas in life at all times. People are waiting for you to mess up.
People are waiting for you to mess up.
They want you to get points deducted. And then when you do, they're excited and like talking about, oh, did you hear the news? Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what she did?
Nice.
It's so ugly. It's so ugly. And it's not our business what other people did, went through, what happened to them. Like, it's just not.
No, it's not.
Even if it's something as simple as an Instagram post, someone posts something and you're like, did you see what she posted? Like, I would have never posted that.
Wah, wah, wah.
You know, like all of that is just unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave it at the door. Leave it. Get it in your brain and take it out.
Mm-hmm.
If that even made sense, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And if you feel like that's you, people coming at you, or
Stay in your own lane with it.
Yeah.
Just be like, look, whew,
yeah, talk again. Jesus,
be better, not
Jesus
bitter.
knows you. Jesus knows your heart, and
Focus on the better. Focus on the positive. Don't focus on the noise because it gets loud.
yeah. But you can choose
Choose.
how you're gonna react. If you want to speak out loud and talk to God and say, or to talk to the devil and say, "I rebuke you."
Get out.
Saint Michael the Archangel, please put a hedge of protection over me. Please put a hedge of protection over my friends that are
Going
being
through
hurt.
this.
Please
Yes.
put a hedge of protection over that person
Right. Amen.
that's being ugly.
It is. It
Or
really
that
is.
scenario that's ugly, that's attacking me, that's whatever it may be.
Right.
You know?
And at the end of the day, you never know what someone's going through. You never know what they're dealing with. And a lot of times people have a lot more in their backpack than they will ever show or tell.
Because nobody wants to be weak. They don't want to.
No,
a lot of
it
people don't wanna
feels
talk about it.
like failing when you have to admit to something
Well, I
you're
think
doing.
admitting to it too. We oftentimes feel embarrassed.
It feels
And
embarrassing.
so we don't want to tell the truth because when we feel weak or we're doing something that we know is not making us better or it's hurting somebody else, we don't want to talk about it because we're not proud of it.
Right. We feel like why did I do that?
Kind of
Make
like
that
Instagram
decision?
is a highlight reel.
Right.
Nobody really wants to post on Instagram that they're having a horrible day or
Or
that this negative stuff happened in their
Right.
life or that their business
Is
lost
failing or-
$10,000
yes,
this month because of a minor mistake that was
Right.
made, right?
It's so true.
Because we magnify our culture, our society magnifies that instead of magnifying the good.
Exactly. Like it's so easy to like hyper focus on that stuff when like, man, it's all right. It's also all right to admit it because here's the thing I've noticed just from talking and being honest about just random stuff on here, the amount of people that I've related and they're like, oh my gosh, it feels so good that I'm not alone. And we think we're alone and stuff. And then we even start talking sometimes and we're like, me too. Okay, good. And so just normalizing like, hey, I messed up. I did this or whatever. I'm going through this. If anyone else is like, I'm here for you or whatever, just normalizing the honesty of the not so pretty things in life, I think could really help people just be okay.
Yeah.
Like even when I admit stuff out loud like that I've been feeling, I just say it to someone, I'm like, that felt really good. I feel a little embarrassed that I did that or said that, but it felt really good to just say it out loud too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And to just like move on
Mm-hmm.
or handle it, whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. So at the end of the day, what are we going to choose?
To be better.
Not bitter. I guess that's a wrap, guys.